The 2022 Jaguars regular season is right around the corner, and there are some incredible plays out there on the betting market for you to make, courtesy of my friends over at BetUS, the ones with the 125% first deposit bonus. Throughout this video, I'm going to have 4 locks of the season here, and I'm so confident in these 4 locks that I've even set out some punishments for myself in the event that they don't hit. If I only have one of my 4 not hit, I am going to have to go do the Buffalo Wild Wings Blazing Wings Challenge. Now, I am a total wuss when it comes to hot things, and so even thinking about doing this challenge absolutely makes my heart hurt, but I'm so confident in these 4 locks that I'm absolutely okay doing it. Now, if 2 of them do not hit, I'm going to have to suffer a pain I have never thought of doing until I decided I needed to find some great punishments for this video. I'm going to have to go find myself a waxing salon. I'm going to lay down on the table, and I'm going to get both of my legs completely waxed. So I really hope that I don't have to go do that. That sounds like a horrible, miserable time. But if three of these locks do not hit, then I'm going to go get a Jaguars tattoo of your choosing. Now, if there's a little stipulation to this, you will submit any and all of your Jaguar related tattoo ideas, whether they be a drawing, whether they just be an idea. I'm going to pick the top 4. I'm going to open it up to polling, either on Twitter, through the YouTube community section. However I can get a vote, I'm going to go get as many votes as I can, and whatever the top voted option is will be tattooed on me for the rest of my life.
Forever.
And if all 4 of these locks do not hit, I will end up doing a 24-hour Jaguars live stream covering everything and anything you've ever wanted to know about these Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll probably end up doing like watch party, watching some games with you guys. I'll try to get some former players on, get other content creators on, make it a fun time for everyone and anyone involved. So that's what happens if these 4 locks do not hit. Now, once again, all of these lines are available on betus.com. You can use the link in the description for 125% first deposit match, and that bonus gets even crazier if you use money from your crypto wallet, whether it be Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, all of them. But without burying the open, the thing you guys are here for, these betting videos. We're going to be starting off with our first lock of the video. It is Darius Williams over under 2.5 interceptions. The over is paying -105, the under is paying -125. In his 2 years playing significant snaps, playing for the LA Rams, he had 4 interceptions off of 570 coverage snaps in 2020, and then 0 in 577 coverage snaps in 2021. Williams is a very good corner, but unfortunately he's not going to be seeing a bunch of starting reps on the outside, and he's going to be limited to what nickel reps he can get. Now, I think he's going to be a very good corner for the Jaguars. I think he's going to be a very good nickel corner, but with the fact that he's going to be playing primarily in the nickel, I think he's really just going to get limited to playing time, and with limiting playing time, it's limiting your stat potential. So with that, I'm saying take the under on Darius Williams over under 2.5 interceptions. Now, the second play of the video, unfortunately, it's not a lock. It's not lock number 2 just yet, but it is Christian Kirk over under total receptions 68.5. The over is paying -115 and the under is paying -115. You need $115 to win 100 on either of those plays. In 2021, Marvin Jones was the main man for Trevor Lawrence to get the ball to. He had 120 targets and hauled in 73 of them. That was obviously with players like Tavon Austin and other players like that getting significant starting snaps and getting significant snaps in general. You talk about Jamal Agnew even played a decent role in certain games of the Jaguars offense. Daquan Treadwell was the Jaguars' 3rd leading receiver. And when you talk about how many people they upgraded, you talk about Tavon Austin no longer being on the team, Daquan Treadwell no longer being on the team, and now they have a legitimate receiving target coming out of the backfield as well with Travis Etienne. Zay Jones joins the fold. Obviously, Kirk's going to be getting a good amount of touches. And then you also look at Evan Ingram. I just think there's a bunch of mouths that are going to need to get fed, and they're going to be open looking for the ball. Kirk has had 100 targets twice in his career, and he's hauled in over that 68.5 mark only once during that time. So the amount of ball distribution that is expected within the Jaguars offense, I do think Kirk's receptions will hover in the low 60s. I'm taking the under with this play of 68.5 for Christian Kirk receptions. Now, lock number 2 of the video is Trevor Lawrence over under 13.5 interceptions. You know, the over here is paying -110 and the under is paying -120. And with Trevor Lawrence throwing 17 interceptions in his rookie year, I think a second-year drop in his numbers is absolutely spot on. You look at the jump that second-year quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks that are expected to be elite in this league, they make a huge second-year leap. And I think not only are we going to see that with his interceptions dropping, I think we're going to see it with touchdowns. I think we're going to see it with average depth of target, total passing yards, all sorts of different metrics you can look at for Trevor Lawrence. And when I think you look at his overall wide receiver room, that got much, much better when you look at the overall talent in it. Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, all of them. And then you add on top of that what is expected to be more competent play calling, you know, whether it be Press Taylor calling the plays or Doug Peterson calling the plays. And I think this just seems like a perfect storm, perfect scenario for Trevor Lawrence, having a much better year, a much more accurate year, and with better accuracy comes lower INT numbers. I'm absolutely smashing the under at -120 on Trevor Lawrence throwing 13.5 touchdowns in 2022. Now we are sticking with the offense, and once again we are going right into lock number 3. Honestly, if you're going to play one of these throughout this video, I think this is the most give me lock that you could probably look at playing. You're talking about Travis Etienne, all-purpose yards, so that's running and receiving, over under at 1,075.5 yards. You know, the over on this is paying -115, the under is paying -115. So you need $115 to win 100 on BetUS. And you're talking about the ACC all-time leading rusher. You know, when he was in college, he only missed the 1,000 all-purpose yard mark one time. And that was his freshman year when he only saw 112 touches. And he still hit 823. So, absolutely insane player coming out of college. And all by all signs and showings that we've seen from him this point through the 2022 preseason training camp, everything like that, it's that he is primed to just pick up right where he left off, almost coming out of college. In his 3 years with Trevor Lawrence and the Clemson Tigers, he had 1,736 all-purpose yards his sophomore year. He eclipsed 2,000 all-purpose yards his junior year, hitting 2,046, and then he hit 1,502 in his senior year. I don't know what these guys are thinking, making this line so small, but Etienne's a man that can make people miss in a phone booth, and I think with his insane breakaway speed that has appeared to come right back, roaring back, there's been no hesitation almost. I think Etienne's going to be heavily used in this Jaguars offensive scheme, both as a pass catcher, a third down back, and I absolutely think the over is the right play on this one. Now, we're finishing out this video with my 4th lock on the season. It is Trevor Lawrence passing yards over under 4,500. You know, the over here is paying -125, the under is paying -105. Trevor Lawrence threw for 3,641 yards, you know, flirting with that 3,650, 350 yards short, and you're talking about a ragtag bunch of Tavon Austin, Laquan Treadwell, Jamal Agnew, all playing significant roles in the offense at various parts of the year. That, you know, that overall wide receiver group, that overall offense led the National Football League in drops with 38. You're talking about being 350 yards short, and then you're talking about a unit that had 38 drops. There's a very similar correlation to why Trevor Lawrence didn't have huge numbers in 2021. Between the additions of Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, and then also the return of Travis Etienne, I think the yards after catch from these guys is absolutely going to help elevate Trevor Lawrence's numbers. Even Tim Jones, we saw Tim Jones being a menace after the catch, even, you know, after contact. It was the one stat from the preseason game, 60 plus of his yards in the game came after contact, and he had 70 total yards in the game. So I think the yards after contact, the yards after catch are absolutely going to help elevate these numbers. And then if Evan Ingram can help fix the dropped reputation, he's going to contribute even more to the Trevor Lawrence development going into year 2. And just like I said, with the interceptions, when you're talking about competent play calling, you're talking about competent coaching, scheming that you're going to get from an NFL coaching staff. You're not going to have Charlie Strong, Urban Meyer, and Sanjay Lal out here deciding what the offensive scheme is going to be like for the game ahead. You're going to have a guy that's won a Super Bowl. You're going to have a guy that Super Bowl winning head coach wanted promoted to offensive coordinator as offensive coordinator. You're going to have a lot of great things around him as a coaching staff. There's a bunch of different new pieces around him. I've run through the list a couple times already. I am absolutely smashing the over on Trevor Lawrence over 4,500. Those are my 4 locks. Let me run through them real quick once again for you guys. Lock number 1, I have Darius Williams going under 2.5 interceptions this year in 2022. I have Trevor Lawrence going under 13.5 interceptions. And I have Travis Etienne going over 1,075.5 all-purpose yards. And then rounding out with Trevor Lawrence going on the over of 4,000.5 passing yards. That is my video. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you would like to play any of these lines, you can down below in the link in my description. It takes you straight to BetUS. You can play all of the incredible NFL lines, the boxing lines, the baseball lines, the hockey lines. I was looking on there today. You can even play world politics. You can play who's going to win Australian primaries. You can vote on anything and everything that you want to play on BetUS. So use that link down in my description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe and go Jaguars.
How about them Jags?
Come on, Joe! Ah! Thank you, baby! Thank you! You making blood come from my damn mouth!